لله الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الأخلاء يومئذ بعضهم لبعض عدو إلا المتقين وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في حديث طويل قال أبو ذر رضي الله تعالى عنه أمشي مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن أخوف ما أخاف علي أمتي كل منافق عليم اللسان مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. My respected listeners in Islam, we were discussing on Friday certain pertinent issues with regards to the envisaged Jalsa that is going to be probably conducted at the Nurul Islam Masjid coming this Saturday. The Jalsa is being hosted by the Jalsa Nurul Islam committees, etc. It's a joint venture. Be as it may, that is not such a major issue. The issue is this year that the speakers of the Jalsas have got a very different understanding, which we have explained before, in as far as what the life of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam is concerned. The Seerah of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is incumbent upon each and every Muslim to zealously protect the Seerah of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We need to know that if we are not going to speak out, and if we are not going to alert people, and if we are going to remain silent, and if we are going to be party to this particular type of jalsas, then we are aiding in the destruction of the Sunnah of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the disfigurement of the reality of the life of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We do not state this out of any intent born from spite, malice, jealousy, etc. We had played, I think, a recording, and we're not going to play it again, where in one of these jalsas, I think it was in 2020, a certain alim with a huge following cried out calling for people to send their daughters to the university, encouraging them, imploring them to become doctors, the female doctors, and he concludes by a ear-shattering, almost hysterical scream, "Love the Ummah, let's save the Ummah, love the Ummah." Now you as an innocent person sitting there, listening, seeing, and it is a Jalsa. The probability is this, that you are going to think that this is in conformity with the teachings of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because that's what a Jalsa is all about. When the alim, the ulama, and people who the awam, the public, look forward to for guidance, they find evidence in the words and the actions and the deeds of the ulama. They see the Maulana is doing this here, so it must be what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was doing. He is speaking he makes this statement in a Jalsa of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thus, this here is the teaching of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, logical reasoning. Until now, there is no retraction. To the very contrary, there is a cementing of what we are doing is correct. It can never be correct. The ayats have been cited. I'm not going to go in that direction again. A hadith has been mentioned. Everyone knows for 1400 years this deen of Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. As far as the women are concerned, it is based on them remaining indoors. Everyone understands this here. Now we come back. We continue with this particular subject. But we will look at it from another angle now. It's nice to analyze things, and we don't analyze anything to nail anyone. Perhaps we take it, would love to think this way here. They are erring in a major, huge manner in that the entire deen, the Seerah of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is being now transformed. The Seerah, from what they in public, no one goes to search for faults. They expose their faults. If a person comes, as I mentioned on Friday, or somewhere in one of the talks, stands and urinates on your car, you tell me, what are you doing? People are coming out of the masjid. You say, look at this guy, man. What's he doing? Imagine that fellow turns around and he says, you know what, don't take out my fault, man. You're only searching for my fault. Why are you spreading my shortcomings? Don't you know you must hide the faults of a Muslim? Allah will hide your faults on the day of Qiyamah. Will you accept that? You will not accept it. So there is a context for things that the hadiths have mentioned about, such as hiding the faults of a Muslim. That is personal faults. You observe it. That person is not harming anyone. That person is not conning anyone. If you have been conned and you know your brother or your cousin or your neighbor is dealing with the same men who have conned you, are you going to remain quiet and say, you know what, I must not expose his faults? I don't think you'll do that. You say, bye, listen here, be careful, this guy took me for a ride. Now the deen is the amanat of every single Muslim. This deen belongs to us. This entire deen with all its beautiful, glorious teachings is an amanat of every Muslim, and it is every Muslim's responsibility to ensure that they do their utmost to protect the deen of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It is not only the duty of the ulama. The best way for us to protect our deen, Friday's bayan, we recited the ayah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqeen. O believers, fear Allah and take part of the companionship of the pious people, the sadiqeen, the truthful people. People who are truthful, who are transparent, they are honest, they make mistakes. If it's a public blunder, then publicly they will admit that I have erred, I make tawbah, and no one should use what I have said in support of the error that they may now be committing. There are three types of friends. The first type of a friend is a very sincere friend. The friendship is not only who you go on a fishing trip with. Friendship is not only who you go camping with. Friendship is not only who you go with to see a soccer match or a cricket match. Friendship is not only who you go together with on a business trip. Friendship is not only this year that politically you are on the same wavelength, and what happens, that is my friend. True friendship is that friendship that brings you closer unto Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Any other type of friendship based on worldly motivations, based on worldly fun and entertainment, where Allah is forgotten, is going to be a curse upon you on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Friendship We go together to the movies, oh youngsters. Friendship, where we exchange telephone numbers of girls with one another, oh youngsters. Oh sisters, friendship where you are on social media with people that are ghair mahram, etc. Understand well that friendship is going to bite you. It will bite me, it will be more vicious than a bite of a pit bull. You know, the pit bull is one of the most dangerous dogs. It is not huge in size. It is such a dangerous dog that some countries have outlawed its breeding. How many a people, how many a person, how many an owner who loved his pit bull to bits and gave that pit bull anything and everything that pit bull would desire. He left his children with his pit bull, they would play with him, and one day the pit bull just turns around. It has happened in South Africa. And gets its teeth into that poor little child or that servant or the gardener. Nothing can unlock their jaws. Nothing. The only thing is put a bullet in its head. We saw how dangerous that pit bull is. I think it was in December, owner returned from his holiday to find out that his domestic worker had been bitten, not only bitten to death, but the body was ripped to pieces by the 3 or so pit bulls that he had. In South Africa it happened. She was also a friend of the pit bull. He was also a friend of the pit bull. But when the original instinct of that pit bull kicked in, that it's an enemy of man, it's an enemy of deep down, it has got the genes, it's got the DNA to attack people. See what was the end result? That end result is nothing compared to what's going to happen to you and me on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. That same friend that told you, let's go to the Jalsa, man, hey, let's just go and listen what it is all about. That same friend that says, you know what, man, hey, I tell you, you know what, we're living now, you must remember, in the 20th century, man. What is this here? The Maulanas also only speak about the kurta and beard and trouser must be above the ankles. That same friend that tells you, you know what, hijab, niqab, come on, man, get a wake-up call, man. You know, we're living in the 20th century. That same friend that tells you, you know what, your child needs education, we require the ummah to be educated, send her to the university. Wallah, I say to you something, and wallah, it is nothing but the truth, and wallah, I don't need anything from you, but the further of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I say this in emulation of what the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wasalam, when they were desperate to guide their people, each and every one of them made a statement, وَمَا سَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ أَجْرِي إِلَّا عَلَىٰ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Nuh alayhi salam said this to his people, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونَ. I only ask you, follow me, fear Allah, follow me. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ, I don't want anything from you. Lut alayhi salatu wasalam said the same thing, وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ. Shu'aib alayhi salam said the same thing, وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said it, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam said it, Hud alayhi salatu wasalam said it as well. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ. We don't want anything. All we want you is to follow Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All the speakers of the haqq, and they are very much more fewer than they were before. Many of them have been uplifted. As Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, before the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah Ta'ala will uplift ilm. A Sahaba inquired, Ya Rasulullah, how is knowledge going to be uplifted? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explained to him, I'm surprised at your question. Don't you know Allah Ta'ala will uplift the ulama of haqq, then only the ignorant will remain, and people will take the ignorant as their leaders. So we come back now. If you have a wrong friend, And amongst friends, you can categorize them. I've got a doctor friend. Hey, in time of need, I can say, you know what, doc, please, man, make a plan. I've got a friend who's a plumber. I can tell him, you know, midnight, man, hey, the geezer bust me, you must come, man. My carpets are worth 30, 40,000 rand. You know, please make a plan, man. You can have a friend who's an electrician, come in, make a plan. But you can get along without having friends like this. You can. It's not it's wrong. There's nothing wrong in having friends, whether they are doctors, engineers, lawyers, plumbers, electricians, nothing wrong. But if you don't have one type of a friend, then you got very big problems. You don't have an alim as a friend. You don't have a wali of Allah, a friend of Allah as a friend. Where are you going to turn? What are you going to do? Geyser burst, carpets come, carpets go. Electrical, no problem, comes the morning, I'll find somebody else. Doctor, no problem, I'll go take a drive, never mind 1 hour drive, I will find a 24-hour clinic open. Pharmacist, no problem, I will find some alternative. But if you don't have pious, truthful friends, you are goner, I'm a goner, we are goners. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam has gone into great detail in order to guide us towards what a true friend is and whose company we should seek. In one hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, إنما مثل الجليس الصالح وجليس السوء كحامل المسك. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the similitude of good company and that of bad company is that of the owner of musk and the one blowing the bellows. The Hasim says, Seerah, there are good friends and bad friends. Company is what? Friends. You sit in good company. Then the example of a person who is sitting in good company is this here. The hadith carries on the essence of it, that the owner of musk would either offer you some free of charge, or you would buy it from him. You go sometimes in a eater shopkeeper like this, say, take it, never mind. You get it free of charge. Or you would buy the musk from him. Or you smell its pleasant fragrance. He opens it, right, chalo aaye. Smell this one, very nice, very nice. Open this one, mask. Give hand here. I tell you something, taqwa wise. If your niyat was not to go buy an eater, it's haram for you to smell that eater. If you didn't go and buy eater, maybe you don't have money, you just want to see around what is the prices. And you take advantage and you say, never mind, let me smell the eater. You've committed a sin with your nose. You are taking profit, you are benefiting for nothing. In fact, you are deceiving him. He may have the impression that you are going to buy. So the guna is now piling up. On the other hand, the Nabi Karim Sallallahu says, if you go and you sit in a company of a blacksmith, he either burns your clothing or you smell a repugnant smell. In olden days, there were blacksmiths. Iron would be brought, steel would be brought, they had a fire blowing there, and they had a hammer, and they would be smoke. So even if you just go and sit there, either the smoke is going to get you, the heat is going to get you, the smell is going to get you, though you are not going to buy anything. So when you are in wrong company, my respected brothers and sisters at home, make sure you know what you are doing with your ears, what you are doing with your mind, what you are doing with your heart. If I'm going to listen, for example, to the Seerah Jalsa, I must understand who are these people. What are they actually promoting? They can't be promoting the deen. All of them are on YouTube. They can't be promoting the deen. All of them are in the entertainment industry. They can't be portraying the deen, where they themselves eat from tables, and yet Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, I sit like a slave and I eat. I am a slave of Allah, I eat humbly. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives an instruction, remove your shoes when you are eating, it's more comfortable. How does a person who goes against the Sunnah way of eating, how does he eat? He doesn't take off his shoes when he's sitting on a chair and eating. And they sit on a chair, and there are photos of them. We don't take it, people bring it, they do it, they pronouncing it, they advertise this, and they are in the restaurants, they are eating with a fork and a knife, they are befriending, and they are boasting about it. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, I eat like a slave, humbly. They are flouting their destruction of the Sunnah. Understood well? We carry on further. We have to be very careful. In play is a more major issue than just the Jalsa issue. Understand well. See here, I'm saying, and I plead with you people, we are in Akhir Zaman. Never think you are safe. Never should I think I'm safe. Mawlana Rasulullah rahmatullah alayhi said at the age of 82, if I associate with a person who has deviated for 10 minutes, I can't say my hidayat will be intact. I can lose my guidance. I'm going to say it. I don't be answerable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is something more huger than just the Jalsa. Amongst the speakers, I'll use the word, never mind, Mufti man. Let's use it. I don't want people now to divert, Let us use it, the name today. He flouts his association with the UAE. He, in the UAE, shares a Ramzan meal, breaking Rosa, with the chief rabbi of Israel. Now you want to tell me this person has the welfare of the Ummah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his heart? Has he forgotten the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the Ummah is like one body? It's one body. If the eye is sore, it's paining, the entire body is in pain. I am expanding on this here. The eye is supposed to only feel the pain where the sockets are. It's got nothing to do with somebody's toes. Nothing to do with somebody's toes, But the toe will feel the pain. You can't tell the toe, hey, what's wrong with you, man? You're such a small fellow there at the bottom. The toe is going to feel the pain. The Ummah feels the pain for one another. It's just a natural instinct that would instantaneously make a person's blood boil when they hear, when they see, when they come to know a child has been shot in the head by a sniper, an Israeli sniper. Deliberately, the snipers, there's a unit of snipers in Israel. They don't shoot to kill. Then these things are all over. It's all over. They shoot to maim. So brutal, inhumane are they, that they will hide behind rocks, they will climb high, tall buildings, they will conceal themselves, they will have a sniper's rifle, they will zoom in, get the sights, the crosshairs exactly on the knee, and they will pull the trigger. They don't want to kill. You see why? When you paralyze someone, you need 3 people now to look after him. It's 3 more people taken out that can't come and demonstrate, protest the brutality of the Israeli, terrorists. That's a good word here. I think it's time we use that word also. They are terrorists. 10 of them take out 10, that means 30, 40 people are occupied. People will run. They are not given access to medical facilities. They don't have proper hospitals operating. If they want to go from one territory to the other territory or in Palestine, there are roadblocks, they will be made, the ambulance will be made to wait for 2 hours while the person is screaming, his wife is crying, the people are waiting. So brutal are they. They have imprisoned more than 450 Muslim children. Oh Ummah! What will you say to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will ask you on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah? You went to a Jalsa where Mufti Menk was. Mufti Menk was in a company of the chief rabbi of Israel. He was feasting and eating and gulping and having the most delicious meal, while my ummah was suffering across the border 1 hour from there, while they were being bombarded in that month of Ramadan when the Gaza war was on. Why did you go there? Was this the company that you had? What will you answer? Can you tell Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, he had 9 million followers. Are you going to remember 9? He won't even remember 1 follower. May Allah grant him hidayat. We make dua. We can't say about anything about ourselves. Has he forgotten the brutality, the killings which the Saudis have committed against the Imam of the Haram Sharif? There's one sheikh, it's in Laudium, celebrity. It's like a Pope has come. People on the road, selfies being taken, videos being downloaded, people posting, check me man, I'm here with Menk, I'm here with the Sheikh. I say there's something bigger at play with this Jalsa. You see, Mufti Menk is a man of the UAE. The UAE is deeply integrated, that would be the most appropriate word to use, with the Israelis and Americans. Everyone knows it. Israelis go in, out. It is one country. What does the UAE do? All the articles are there. There's a book out, Ummat, you'll find it there. The UAE shares, they built the first mandir, temple, Hindu temple, Mushrik temple. They had a grand opening when these sheikhs with the long kurtas went to offer to the idols mithai, sweetmeats, where they garlanded the idols, when they stood there posing with the idols. And mind you, on one of these Hindu religious festivals, they especially imported a cow from India and they knelt in front of that cow. Mufti Menk, you say you've got 9 million followers. Tell them that I told them in public, I'm a Mufti. I'm the Grand Mufti of Zimbabwe. I told them on the face, it's haram what you are doing. It is incorrect what you are doing. It is an act of shirk that you are doing. If you are not going to make tawbah, I won't befriend you. So you see, you look at the bigger world picture. You must understand, this is a very sinister plot. They want South African Muslims to be the slaves of the Saudis, and the Saudis are the slaves of the Israelis. The Saudis have imprisoned, I'm going to give you some facts, you can go and Google it. They have imprisoned Sheikh Boda. Not only is he in prison, we call it a sword is hanging on his neck. Any time they're going to execute him. His family are crying. He's got a wife. He's got children. I think he came to South Africa, Sheikh Saleh. His father was an immensely pious person. He was a great Imam of Makkah Mukarramah. He was the Chief Justice, Qadi of Makkah Mukarramah. He had tens of thousands of following. He was an adored person. very, very humble, Allah-fearing alim. He committed one mistake. Sheikh Salih I'm speaking about, not Sheikh Boda. He gave a talk by the Baytullah, and in this talk, it was around 1918 or so, that time MBS was just coming around. He said, listen here, I don't say don't have entertainment. I don't say don't have fun. I don't say don't partake in social events. All I say, don't freely intermingle. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying this here, let us keep Islamic rule in this country. Do you know what he did? He went out of the country. When he returned from the airport, they kidnapped him. They kidnapped him. Sheikh Mahir is here. I think Sheikh Mahir, yeah. He's here around. Ask him, Sheikh, you know what you see, Saudi Arabia, it's such a wonderful country. Throughout the world, you know, they're stretching their hands and they're spreading the message of peace and love. Ask him, Sheikh Mahir, we respect you, Imam of the Haram. But respect does not mean that we must kneel to you and whatever you say because you're the Sheikh of the Haram. We want to ask you one question as an ummah. It's our right to know. He was the Imam of the Haram. Sheikh Salih has been imprisoned to 10 years in jail. Did you make any statement anyway and oppose this zulm that they have done against the Imam of the Haram? Surely you knew him. Surely you met him. Surely you associated with him. Surely you smiled at him. Surely you displayed love at him. And the Saudis, they display love to one another. Men, I don't think any other culture is there where they kiss you and kiss you and kiss you and hug you and kiss you again in the beginning and the end. So much kisses you planted on him. MashaAllah wa ta'ala. Did you show any expression? Yeah, Sheikh, man, just tell us this here. You came here to further enhance and give acceptability to the Saudi regime. You've only praised the Saudi regime, how great they are, peace and love and harmony, live in harmony. Oh Sheikh, we ask you another small question. We're not big people, we are small people in South Africa. But we would like to know something. There was this gentleman called Jamal Khashoggi, We have to speak these things. This is our deen. If he comes to the Jalsa and Menk is there, you must look, hey Menk, you must have the guts. May there be such people that can stand up there. Listen here, it's not terrorism. Listen here, this is not called being a radical. We are, as far as our deen is concerned, Allah Ta'ala gave us a certificate in the Quran Kareem. Allah Ta'ala gave us a certificate as believers. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Those who have iman, they are very intense in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala gave us a certificate in the Quran Kareem. Muhammadur Rasulullah وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ. Muhammad is Allah's Rasul. Those who are with Allah's Rasul, وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ, ma'a is ma'iyyat, with Allah's Rasul, أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفْرَارِ, they firm, they tough, they strict, they staunch, they harsh, they outspoken against the kuffar. Oh Sheikh Mahir, what did you speak out against the Israelis that are brutalizing our women, that are molesting them in the prisons? 450 children are in those jails. Oh Mufti men, what have you done? Where is ruhama bainahum? They've got raham in their heart for one another. You've got so much raham for the sheikhs there in Egypt. You've got so much in UAE. You've got so much raham for the chief rabbi. You can sit and smile and eat, whilst after the meals he goes and he prays, let them kill the Palestinians. I don't think we're going to come right in South Africa selling this here. That, we must accept the very, very possible situation that one morning Saudi Arabia has officially recognized the state of Israel. You are preparing the ground now. You are softening it. You are turning the soil. You know it's coming, and they know it's coming, and you know that they don't want any opposition, and accordingly you are playing to the tune. What you get is out of it is between you and Allah. Whether it is dollars, whether it is name and fame, whether it is free visas, whether it is whatever it may be, you know you are getting something back. That will leave it to between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you get nothing back, it's your obligation as a Muslim, as an alim, as a sheikh of the Haram, as a Mufti, to bring to the notice of the Ummah what you understand. If you never did before, now you have some understanding. Don't differ and distract the arguments of people are being jealous. We've got millions of followers. Don't distract the crux of the matter from the zulam which the Saudis. You know how beautiful is Islam. Allahu Akbar, man. Forget Kahoshi. If they come out and they wage war against the Muslims, when we capture them, they're soldiers, they're prisoners of war. We must give them what we eat. We must give them what we wear. If it's winter and it's bitter cold, we must give them what we wear. We must give them what we eat. How is it possible ever for a person who says, Habibi, Akhi, Habibi, Habibi, please calm down. How did your heart ever come down when you heard that our brother, for whatever his ills and wrongs were, that is there, we all got it, we all got our evils, all our wrong. But to know that a human being has been sawed into chunks of meat and incinerated. They used a bone saw. Allah save us. They also admit it happened. First it was the propaganda. Israelis found, hey, listen here, just say this here. You don't know anything. You're investigating. Delay, they'll forget. The world never forgot. It was such a careless, horrendous, inhumane act. When it was established that Jamal Khashoggi went into the Saudi embassy, he never came out alive. That was all a farce and false propaganda. He came out from the other door and he went out. All was discredited. When they saw there's no way out now, then they said, yeah, it happened. MAS said, I'm not responsible. He did this, yeah. We leave out MAS. We're speaking about right now. How is it that Mufti men kept quiet all these years? Taking a human being, there's no active, he didn't come out as a soldier fighting the Saudis. He had no gun, nothing, he had a pen. Yes, he was being employed, I think the Washington Post or whatever it may be, to write about what is happening in Saudi Arabia. They couldn't stand it. They couldn't bear any type of resistance or accept any type of challenges. So they lured him in there on a false pretext that they were going to give him his marriage, or at least his divorce certificate, whatever it may be. They drugged him. Thereafter, what they did, they cut him. The guy was playing music. He was jiving while playing music, and they cutting the hand, and they cutting the legs, and they cutting the neck, and they cutting the ribs, and they cutting the elbows from one another. Bone saw, with a bone, the big saw you saw in the butchery. They cutting him to pieces. Mufti Meng, I plead with you. I don't think I met you. That is not a necessity for appreciating my advice to you. And I first tell myself, may I soak myself with istighfar. But I tell you as a Muslim brother, I tell you also MBS, wherever you are, maybe who knows where you can go. Make istighfar, Allah will forgive you. Turn back the clock. If you don't need the du'as, don't worry. I've made it as a Muslim brother. It's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know it happens. You know, Jalsa, Uksa, all knows this is happening. Why do you bring him to the Jalsa? Why do you bring to a Seerah Jalsa? You know the word Seerah is like a magnet. It's very inviting. People want to flock. They love the beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But oh people, use your reasoning. When we sit there, we are going to fall in love with what? With the oratory skills. But, all praise be unto Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we send endless durud to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has warned us before. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in one hadith, what does he say? Verily among what I fear most for my nation is every hypocrite with a knowledgeable tongue. The tongue is very knowledgeable, but the heart is the heart of a hypocrite. The heart speaks lies. The heart deceives. The heart is filled with ujab. The heart is filled with riyah. The heart is filled with kibr. And these are the three major spiritual sicknesses that shaitan uses to mislead the majority of the ulama. Starting with kibr. Kibr means pride. What is pride? I am better than you. Ana khairum min. And you are more inferior than me. You listen to me, I don't listen to anyone. I will command you and I will lord it over you. You are a slave and you are a mere follower. You've got no rights, I've got all the rights. I can lock you up whenever I want to, and I can pass whatever sentence I want to upon you. And I given instruction also that you must use a bone, so you can't do anything. I am the Fir'aun of the times. I am the Fir'aun of a country. I am the Fir'aun of a group of friends speaking together. All listen only to me. You don't need to listen to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what did Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith that has been mentioned, I fear, who's fearing? Who's fearing? Our Nabi was most desirous of our hidayat. What does he fear most? He says, for my ummah, I love my ummah. Our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for us before we were born. Our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua after every salah. Every salah, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for this ummah. Once as Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala, she says, I was sitting with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and I asked Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, make dua, Allah forgive me my sins. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua, Allah forgive Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha all her sins and shortcomings. She became so overwhelmed with joy that her head fell in a lap of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she was overjoyed. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the dua for me. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the dua for me. I'll digress just a little. Just before Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, she saw Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in pain. It is a hadith that's narrated from her. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when you experience pain, recite Surah Falaq and Surah Nas. Recite these two surahs, blow on your palms and rub it on your body. And she saw Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing this time and again. Now here was Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the last moments of his Mubarak life. Heavens are crying, the malaika are weeping, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are sobbing. Everyone is sensing, those that have got a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah's final Nabi is about to make his departure from this temporary world. What does Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala do? She sees Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in pain. She decides, I will make this amal, which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. She reads the Surah Falaq, Surah Nas. She blows it in the palms of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In one narration it is in her own palms, but she takes her palms and places it on the palms of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and takes his Mubarak hands to rub on his own body. She guides it, rub here. She thought to herself, the ulama have stated, I can't bring that type of barakah of healing Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam with my hands, then what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam can do with his own hands. Look at the respect shared for Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today the same Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala, the Shias malign, they say she committed zina. Mr. Menk, Maulana Nemenko, whatever they say, Mufti Menk, have you ever spoken clearly, openly against the Shias, that those who slander Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha, they are murtad, openly murtad. We say they are murtad, you must use the word murtad. You can't do it. You're going to lose a lot of followers. You feel threatened. And then you think other people feel threatened because of your presence. Your presence, if it's there, it's not there. In the eyes of Allah, forget you. No creation. Allah Ta'ala is not dependent on any creation, including you, Mufti meant. If you are not there, you're not going to make any difference to the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In fact, the entire world can worship Allah ta'ala, but it doesn't increase Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatness in the least. So we find Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam here explaining to us that there will be knowledgeable people. There will be such people that the knowledge will be on the tongue, but the heart will be filled with hypocrisy. Then I come to another amazing hadith of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to those people who want to go and attend the Jalsa, you committing a big crime. Now that you know Mufti Menki is there, and he's a celebrity and whatever, and baby, what does Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam say in one lengthy hadith? He says, okay, let me start from the beginning. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala was once invited to a walima. When he went, he heard music, so he did not enter. There's music, I'm not going in here, I'm sorry. No ways I'm entering in here. When someone inquired, he replied, I heard Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, whoever increases the number of a gathering is part of them, and whoever is pleased with or approves an action of people will be a partner of those carrying out the deed. You go to the Jalsa, you are partnered with Mufti Meng, and whatever it may be on the day of Qiyamah, you go and sit and be with him and his followers. And you answer to Allah and His Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Choose your friends. The first type of friend is his sincere friend. He will tell you this is right. He's going to take you to Jannah. You will take him to Jannah. You will tell him, even if he's a scholar or whatever, with respect, if he's doing wrong, you will tell him, I don't understand, but isn't this condemned in the Sharia? And he will happily accept it. He won't have that ace that I'm a Maulana, who are you to tell me where you come from? No, he will accept. You lead one another. You encourage one another. You make Amar bil Ma'ruf Nahi Anil Munkar. The Shaykh Ma'iri says, he quotes, وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Help one another in goodness and virtue. He states this here, in order to justify the Saudi government's interfaith, Abraham's Accord, etc., and when they are going to meet up with the Israelis. He justifies it, and he says, we're helping one another in virtue. Really, Sheikh? Really? Really? You, the Israelis, you're helping them in virtue? When they've got our children in the prisons, and they've got thousands of Muslim prisoners, and just recently the minister of prisons or whatever went to inspect the prisoners where the prisons where the our Palestinian brothers, the ummatis of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where they are imprisoned. Why he went there? He went there to say, I want to make sure they don't get an iota of luxury. There mustn't be fenced there. Let me see the quality of the food, make it worse. More. You speak about aiding one another in virtue, and you speak about aiding one another in goodness. Where is the goodness from the Yahud? Where is the goodness from the Hindus? Where is the goodness from the Mushrikeen? Where is the goodness from the Christians? Where is the goodness that was to be exercised to the prisoners of Abu Ghuraib? Where is the goodness that was to be exercised to the people whom they renditioned out of countries, and they tortured them, and some of them, the families don't even know whether they are alive or not. Where is the goodness when you bomb people in Yemen, bomb millions of people? People are starving on the roads. Oh, Sheikh Meng, please, for Allah's sake, man, I think you must also say, Wallah, it's enough, I've understood the truth. What have you spoken about the Saudis who are bombing children? How can I keep quiet when that child is a child of the Ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Am I supposed to keep quiet? And you want to go to the Jalsa Jalsa, and in all probability you will be misled, you will be deceived. You'll say, wow, they will take their videos and they will go around and say we had so many tens of thousands or whatever. Ask him, what did you do for the ummah who are in such a great plight? Did Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam leave them aside? Did Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam not for one Muslim's honor, one Muslim lady, one Muslimah in Medina Munawwara? The Yahud interfered with her. She was in a bazaar in those days. There was no such instructions about hijab. A Yahud shopkeeper had fastened her jilbab in such a manner without she knowing. She was sitting, and when she stood up, part of her body was exposed, and he started laughing. When the Yahud started laughing, this lady screamed out for help. A Muslim Sahaba came, he saw this here, he got into an argument with the Yahud. He killed the Yahud. The other Yahud came and they killed him. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to find out what was the cause of this, all this here. The Yahud interfering. What? One. We're not speaking about how many Muslim sisters of ours are languishing in the jails in both Saudi Arabia and in Israel. Our Rasul knew ta'awanu ala al-birri wa taqwa. Sheikh, don't come and teach us what ta'awanu ala al-birri wa taqwa is. For if you had known what ta'awanu ala al-birri wa taqwa is all about, then you wouldn't have quoted it in this context where everyone sits happily feasting, having the interfaith movement and all the conventions and the conferences, and if the media there, all the media running behind him and proclaiming their greatness. No, Sheikh, it doesn't work like this. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam stood up, get ready. Consequence of this here, that entire Yahud tribe was expelled from Medina Munawwara. Get out, the whole lot of you. Today you have allowed the Yahud to capture the sacred lands of Islam. Makkah, Medina, Munawwara, much of it belongs to companies, property developers. Who are Yahud? Behind the scenes, behind the companies, the Yahud are in charge. You have sold Makkah and Medina Munawwara, and you want us to accept, the Ummah must accept it. Many of the Ummah are scared, they don't want to speak. Hey, they won't give us visas, man. Hey, they put us on a blacklist. Hey, they'll deport us. Brothers, I tell you something. What Allah said that? Two things. You worship Allah. We don't worship the Baytullah. The Lord of Allah is everywhere. Ban us, sanction us, deter us, threaten us. You can't close the doors of Allah to us. Where we are, Allah is there. Where Allah is there, we are there. Alhamdulillah, we got our Makkah Mukarramah. You can deny us access to Medina Munawwara. You can't deny us access to the Sunnah of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We will eat the Sunnah way. We will sleep the Sunnah way. We will dress the Sunnah way. We will have our beards in conformity to the King of both the worlds. MBS may not like it. We will awful loha. Lengthen your beards. Where we are, we have the love of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How many other people in Medina Munawwara, they are there, but they are deprived of the love of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They don't have the Sunnah appearance, nor the Sunnah method in their lives. You can't do that. And then there's here still a little, just something, I think it should be said. People feel very depressed, how are we going to go for Umrah? Hey, I'm associated now, this guy went to speak out everything, I'm a goner man. You're not a goner man. Forget it. You're not a goner. You can be a goner if you stand up for the cause of Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Are you crazy? You must be associating with MBS. You think everyone is a goner who don't come Makkah, Medina. Or the guys who killed it, I don't think so. Anyone is going to go become a bonzo guy here. But I tell you something, Allah's karam, Allah's raham is so huge, man. It is so beautiful, it's so sublime, it's so generous, it's so secretive. There are many people that don't come to Makkah and Medina Munawwara without going there. to Mecca without having to bother about getting a visa, without having to pay tens of thousands of rands, without having to squabble with the agent the best prices for hotels, etc., without going to go through the process of immigration where perhaps a woman want to touch your hand or checking in hotels. They get direct checking in with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, although they are not in Makkah and Medina Munawwara. They get direct checking in with Allah's Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There's not much time, but I will narrate 2-3 incidents from our pious predecessors so you can understand. You'll never be deprived. Impossible. It is impossible of impossible. I can start off. Let's start off with Mullah Qasim Nanotwi. You know that Jalsa organizers, Allah grant tawfiq to us also. We always speak dua, not to show off. We shouldn't even speak about it, but then there is this notion, you know what, you hate us. No brother, no, wallahi al-azim, wallahi al-azim. Wallahi al-azim. We don't need to hate any Muslim, but at the same time we don't need anyone to deceive us. Even though themselves may be deceived that it's a Seerah Jalsa. It's not a Seerah Jalsa. By no stretch of imagination. Mullah Qasim Nanotwi rahmatullah alayhi spoke the truth. His Shaykh had a different opinion concerning certain issues. And his Shaykh was Haji Darullah rahmatullah alayhi. Mullah Qasim rahmatullah alayhi didn't worry, this is my Shaykh. He maintained that respect, no doubt. But he understood also, he had Shirah Sadr. His breast was open. Allah Ta'ala had expanded it, made it as if it was taking in everything from the east and the west and the north and the south, from the arsh right to the ground. As if not, when I say everything, we speak of essence concerning the subject that he was in conflict with his Shaykh. That Shirah Sadr came to his heart. But the Shaykh felt very strongly. Haji Mdala Rahmatullah Makki was in wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of the highest category. But at the end of the day he was human. Then came the day. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came in a dream. Came in a dream of Maulana Qasim Nanotwi Rahmatullah. And Mullah Qasim Nanotwi Rahmatullah is standing one side. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is sitting, and there are several people there. Mullah Qasim Nanotwi rahmatullah, when he narrated the dream, he says, I was shaking, shivering out of awe, looking down. This is Allah's Rasul. This is a place where the Malaika look down and they shake out of awe and respect for Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And a conversation takes place, who is right and is wrong, who is wrong. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that youngster there, he is right. He woke up, he wrote to his Shaykh. The Shaykh was a Shaykh among Mashayikh. He was so overjoyed that my Murid, my Qasim, Allah has used my Murid, my Qasim, to guide me towards what is right. Before passing, we say, take that letter, put it in my kafan, I must be buried it. Ya Allah, I am the tariqah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of what my Nabi had instructed. Mullah Qasim Nanotwi rahmatullah alayhi. Maulana Yaqub rahmatullah saw Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi rahmatullah Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to visit them, come to them. Maulana Masihullah rahmatullah many a times. Alhamdulillah, they've got that. It's another type of a contact, if you can call it, because they sacrifice. At times that sacrifice is very great, very huge. These ulama of the haram that have been in prison, the one, Allah make his maghfirah, he made one simple mistake. What was his mistake? He went to Turkey in 2014 when Sofia, Hagia Sophia, it was still a museum, it was a small portion. He performed Salah there. Do you know what? Couple 5-6 years thereafter they arrested him. You went there. Why you went there that time? It was not even a proper masjid at that time. Imprisoned. Salih bin Talib imprisoned. Sheikh Boda imprisoned. Abdullah Bashar, they executed him. Come on, Sheikh Mahir, come on. They executed him. You dare not speak out against anyone. You dare not challenge us. If we want heavily, you shut your mouth, O Shaykh of the Imam of the Haram. You are the Imam of the Haram, the epicenter of the world, the first masjid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna awwala bayti wudi'a lin-nasi lalladhi bi Bakkah, in Makkah. You have been given that position by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He decided, it was Shaykh Salih, he decided, I'm going to say a few words here. In prison, go to 12, 14 years, 10 years into jail. The other one, he spoke then, not even in Saudi Arabia. Oh, you went there, you performed Tarawih, you performed Salah there. Take him in, he's a terrorist, finish. We can never ever think of even going to the Jalsa, unless you go there. And I'm not advocating any violence. I'm not advocating any type of physical, what you can call action there. Yes, you've got the right to ask. If they say, the common response is, it's not that forum. Where else are you going to give a forum? If not in a seerah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where else in the world? Tell us, when is that forum going to be established? Fair. The people want to ask, you ask respectfully. Sheikh Mahid, we want to ask you. Sheikh Sudais, they asked him when he went to Germany. He went a couple of years to Germany with his bodyguards and all, and he was giving a glowing account of how great the MBS is and whatever it may be. A person stood up very humbly and in Arabic he asked him, Sheikh, see, I'm not, first of all he cleared it, I'm not of the Muslim Brotherhood. They hate the Muslim Brotherhood. They got Hafiz Mosri out. They got him killed. Worse than what an animal could be killed. He died in a cage, in prison. He was getting a heart attack or whatever. They laughed. They never gave him medication. What did you do, Mufti, meant to speak about? That izzat of Hafiz Mosri. Tell us. Tell the Ummah. You want millions of followers, then you must earn that following. You can't go, skydiving and, Hoover doing, you justify, forget it. But I think more important to people is, what are you doing about the pain of the Ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and about the oppressed people? Sheikh Sudais was speaking, and this person stood up, he said, Sheikh, I want to ask, but before, and I make it clear, I'm not of the Brotherhood, but tell me about Mosri, what happened? The Sheikh had no answer. He couldn't answer. Some people then a little hear their commotion. Eventually they took the Sheikh, and that was the last time the Sheikh went, as far as I know, going on his overseas excursions to promote the Saudi ideology. If there are people, you go there nicely. Respectfully, Sheikh, we respect you, but what did you do about all these things? You can do further research and make sure you have your facts right, and it is your right to pose these questions. May Allah Ta'ala grant us tawfiq. May Allah Ta'ala forgive our sins. If we in South Africa are not going to be careful, Allah forbid, we don't stand up for Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We don't stand up for the deen of Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We enjoy all the luxuries and the ni'mats of Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala. But when the time comes to become kunu ansar Allah, be the helpers of Allah. Allah Ta'ala says, be ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O people of Iman, stand up, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamin bil qisti shuhada lillah. Whether it is your brothers, your parents, your friends, your relatives, when it comes to the matters of the deen, you don't look, oh my son, oh my brother, you are the speaker there. You will stand up for the cause of Allah, and you will say openly to yourself, and you will say respectfully, I am not going to be your friend when it comes to these issues. In fact, all the better, you're not going to get sin. The masala about not speaking to someone for 3 days, there's a whole masala behind this here. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prohibited the Sahaba for 50 days not to speak to that one Sahaba, 3 Sahabas who didn't go to the battle of Tabuk. If you break family ties for the pleasure of Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it's a ibadah. Don't let them put you on a guilt trip. You have to maintain family ties. While you sin, I will maintain family ties. My ties with Allah Ta'ala will be severe. My ties with Jannah will be severed. My ties with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be severed. I require the ties with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to ask him for intercession on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. I require the ties with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I go in front of Allah ta'ala, I must say, Rabbi firli khatiyati. Oh Allah, forgive me my sins. I require ties with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah ta'ala can give you the instruction, Urkhulul Jannah. Go to Jannah. I can't sever my ties with you. May Allah ta'ala grant us tawfiq wa akhiru da'wana. Anil hamdulillah.